If you are looking for a dedicated warm white slash cool white wash slash blinder with a RGB FX light built in, look no further. Jerry back with that Theatrically Jerry, and today we're going to be reviewing this retro style compact stage blinder. This particular fixture goes by several different manufacturers, so there isn't a specific one that builds these. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what's included with purchase. Included with purchase is the main unit here. You are also getting a user manual. This is a full color user manual, and it's going to contain your DMX channel value charts, as well as the built-in effects functions and the menu system, which we're going to go over a little bit later on in this in-depth review. They also have it in what appears to be German, so you get German or English on this. Definitely keep this just in case, because I do see a lot of people asking for profiles and they can't seem to find them, so keeping this user manual is super important. It's also going to go over the safety of operating this fixture, and it also gives you your technical parameters, so definitely keep this. You also get a PowerCon power connector, as well as a 3-pin DMX in and out cable, which I'm not going to go ahead and show you guys because we've all seen them so many times, but you are going to get those accessories as well. This fixture is measuring in at 13.46 inches wide by 7.48 inches tall by a super thin 4 inches deep, as you can see here. So 4 inches from the front element to the back. It weighs in at 6.17 pounds, so not super heavy. Because it's both compact and lightweight, it makes it a breeze to hang on your truss. The front of this fixture features a very clean design. 2 lenses with a retro style grille covering, a Fresnel style optics behind it. Behind each lens is a 100 watt COB or chip on board, capable of warm white slash cool white, and of course your neutral. Surrounding the perimeter inside of the lens are 48.2 watt RGB SMD LEDs. So these are red, green, and blue surface mounted diodes, and they're actually behind the lens, so they're not on the outside of the lens. So what this is going to do is create a really cool RGB effect ring that I'm going to show you guys later on. These are, of course, more for an effect than they are for blinding. The blinding part is the warm white and the cool white, which you can actually see the rather large white cob right here. The back of this fixture has a really nice and balanced layout. Dead center, you're going to see your typical LCD display. This is for viewing the user interface, and right below it are 4 buttons for navigating it. You have your menu, up, down, and enter buttons. To the left here, we have our PowerCon power in, as well as our PowerCon power out, and that is for daisy chaining your power supply. Right below that is a variable speed active cooling fan. To the right here, we have our 3-pin DMX in and out. That is for chaining your data, so you can actually link multiple lights together if you're using a DMX console, or if you're doing a master and slave, you can also do that as well. Right below it is another active cooling fan, and we're going to get more in depth on the cooling ability as well as the sound of the fans later on in this review. You are also getting, of course, a metal yoke here, or mounting bracket, and it does have 3 M10s right here, so you can hook a C-clamp up to it to attach it to your truss system. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this over here just so I can show you. You are getting oversized thumb screws. They are plastic, not metal. I do like seeing oversized ones because they're easier on the fingers, but that is how you're going to tighten your yoke or mounting bracket on this particular fixture. All right, so let's go ahead and power this on and check out the built-in menu system as well as the user navigation. In order to power this on, you're just going to simply plug it in. There is no on and off switch for this fixture. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. And as you can see, it's going to start loading. And the first menu you're going to be greeted with is your DMX menu, which has an A on it that stands for address. So let's go ahead and check out the built-in menus. First menu is A, which is address. This is going to allow us to set our DMX channel address. So right now you can select anything from 512 to 1. I'm just going to leave it at 1. Our next menu is CHND, which is our channel mode menu. I'm not sure why they included it because you can only select a 13 channel mode. So there's your channel mode menu. Our next menu is going to say U255. So U means white, and this is going to allow you to select your warm white. So you can select any value from 000 to 255 being at full. So that's for our warm white. Our next menu is our cool white. There's a little tiny C. That's going to allow you to select your cool white. And you can of course mix the warm and the cool to create a neutral, which we'll look at later on. Our next menu is for our effects light. So we have an R, that is our red. We have our G, that is our green. And you can select any value from 0 to 255. Blue, that's for our blue effects light. Now we have F, and F means flash or strobe. So you can select a strobe anywhere from 0 to 255. 255 being the fastest for the strobe. CL are our 20 built-in effects that we can choose from. As you can see, they do in fact have 20 programs here, and they're basically the built-in macros of this fixture. Just gonna leave it at 1. Our next menu is our auto menu. So this is our built-in auto effects. S from 0 to 255, and that is the speed for the built-in effects. So 0 is going to be your slowest speed for your auto, 255 being the fastest. And so that is our auto. SOUD is our sound mode. So this is our sound control mode setting. And you can actually adjust the sound sensitivity, 15 being the highest, 01 being the lowest. So anywhere from 15 to 01. That is actually all of the menus that are built into this light fixture. So these are super simple menu systems. They're fairly typical. I see them a lot on budget-friendly light fixtures. There's nothing out of the ordinary. There's no flash, bang, boom, anything that's sets it apart from any other light fixture. But I do like showing the built-in menu system as well as the user navigation to show you just how easy it is to set this light fixture up. This 2x100 watt retro blinder has a wide 60-degree beam angle, making it an excellent wash/blinder light. There is also a linear dimming system installed. Let's see how well this fixture dims. So what I'm going to do is I have this attached to my Blizzard socket, and I'm going to control it through Blizzard's at full program on my iPad. So let's go ahead and look at just how well the dimmer is on this. So what we're looking for is not a whole lot of stepping, and stepping is the visible drop of the light as you're dimming up or down. You'll be able to see it kind of do like a jittering look to it, and that's something we don't want to see on our light fixtures because it's just not visually appealing. This one seems to have a rather nice dimming system at the higher end as well as the middle, but where budget fixtures usually fail is the lower end, especially in terms of smooth dimming. So as you can see here, you can see visible stepping. We have our on, which is at 2 on our dimming channel, and then off. So it's not actually smooth dimming. When it's going off, so it's just either on or off at the lower end here, but that's usually not a problem for DJs and concert venues and clubs. This is more of a thing for theater, and that's what my eyes trained for, because that's what I do is theater lighting. So I'm used to seeing it, others might not, but it has great control at the higher end here, so it's not a bad fixture. Let's go ahead and see what the cool white does. I kind of figured it'd have the same characteristics, which is either kind of an on or just off, but again, the dimming's not bad on this fixture. It's definitely not a 16-bit linear dimming system, definitely 8. And it's the same on the other eye as well, because they're both being controlled by the same built-in dimmer. So it's either just going to be on or off. And that's true with our white as well. But again, it's not bad. I've seen a lot worse on budget-friendly fixtures, so just keep that in mind. These white COBs or chips on board, they look great, so they do have that going for them. Let's see if the same characteristic follows the RGB FX light. So they're either on or off as well. So they're probably being controlled by the same dimmer. But these colors look great for the SMDs. And we are going to look at those a little later on, but we do have really great reds, greens, and blues. I would have liked to seen the blue a little bit richer, so on its wavelength I would have liked to seen a much richer blue, but they're not bad. They look great. We're not getting any weird kind of looks with it. Right, so now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the strobe. They're claiming a 1 to 20 hertz variable strobe. 20 hertz is actually not bad for a strobe, but those claims are usually false, especially on budget-friendly light fixtures. But let's go ahead and see how quick the refresh rate is on these LEDs. So again, we're going to test the whites first. So here's our white, and I'm going to try our strobe. Alright, so our strobes look great on the COBs, which I expected, because control on COBs are a lot better than SMDs, so that's not surprising to me. Let's go ahead and bring up the strobe channel. See if we can get it to this 20 hertz strobe. So this is our maximum strobe. I'm going to go ahead and bring down my shutter so we can kind of have a better look at the strobe here. So as you can see, it's strobing rather quickly. It's definitely a higher refresh rate. I wouldn't say necessarily 20, but more like 15 if we're pushing it. Probably it is getting pretty close to 20, but you can see the variable frames or the dropouts, so the black in between the light. So I'm not going to say that these are 20, but I'm also not going to say it's a bad strobe. It actually looks great, especially when you get these slower strobes going. But again, these are blinders, so you do want your strobe to look great. Kind of want to see what it looks like with a cool white. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like. So again, the strobe's not bad. As you can see from my camera, it's just barely doing the dropout frames in between. So it's a rather high refresh rate, not bad, especially for budget friendly. Let's see how the SMDs handle the strobe. So bring up our red. Okay, fairly typical. Bring up the speed. So our SMDs have a very similar strobe as the COB. So they match, which is great. They're not out of sync. So if you are using the warm or cool white, you're not going to get a weird out of sync strobe. They're definitely in sync with each other and have the same specs in terms of refresh rate. There's our green, mix some blue, mix our red, make an awful looking white when you mix red, green, and blue. But yes, so there's our strobe, just in case anyone was interested in knowing what the strobe looks like. All right, so something I like to do is to just check out the quality of the COBs and SMDs on board. They claim a 3200K warm white, so let's go ahead and take a look at our warm white. So there's our warm, and there's our warm on both of these. So this is a very pleasing warm white. I've definitely seen a lot warmer, so you have to keep in mind that in terms of color temperature on your whites, this could definitely go warmer. I've seen some that are almost close to amber in terms of warmth. So their 3200K definitely checks out on this, because I have seen some drop down into 2500 and it looks a lot nicer. So there's our warm. Let's go ahead and check out our cool white. Now the cool white claims 5600K, which that is definitely not in the cool color temperature for a white. I would consider anything above 7500K going into the cool range of white. So it definitely doesn't have the extreme white that we're used to seeing, but their claim of 5600K is pretty close, and that's really a natural neutral white color when we get around 4800 to 5000K. So 5600 is a little cooler than neutral white, but not much. You're not going to notice a difference, so you're not going to get that really deep blue cool white that we're used to seeing. Let's go ahead and mix our cool white and our warm white to get another white. So what we're doing is color temperature correction, or CTC, and we can correct the color temperature of the white by dropping our warm white and our cool white. Basically, it's just color mixing, but we're using white. And as you can see, you can get some really great white colors by doing this. And again, they are very pleasing, especially on skin tone. So let me go ahead and drop this shutter down. And something you are going to notice is there is banding, and that is something that a lot of photographers are concerned with, especially videographers. And the banding seems to go away at 1/750th of a second, and anything above that you're going to start to see banding, and it's definitely not on every single shutter. For instance, 1/4000th of a second there's no banding. 1/6000th there is, but again, these colors are pleasing on your skin tone. There's our warm white. Here's more of our neutral, and this is going to be our cool white. Our cool white doesn't look that great on your skin tone. It looks sickly, which is to be expected. But anyways, there's our warm and cool white COBs. Let's go ahead and check out the SMDs. So here's our red. I'm going to bring this up so we don't get that annoying banding. It apparently happens with the SMDs as well, and that has to do with pulse width modification or modulation of the SMDs. And the COB, they're simply not on the correct hertz for my camera, which is fine. So as you can see, these are not as potent LEDs. They're not really going through my paper unless I stick it right up against it, but look how cool that looks. You get the pattern of the retro grill on there. But there's our red. Here's our green. And I just feel like you get a more better sense of the wavelength of the colors when I put the paper up against it, as opposed to just showing you it like that, because cameras usually blow out the light. So that's why I'm holding this paper up. Here's our blue. And as you can see, the wavelength isn't bad on the blue. It definitely could be a deeper royal color blue, but it's not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and show you it like that. So again, not bad, but there is definite room for improvement. However, this is a budget-friendly fixture, and you're going to be shocked at how much these cost. For the cost, these are actually very decent, and we're going to keep going on and look at more features on this fixture. All right, so you start to get into some interesting looks when you have this connected to DMX, simply because the channels allow you to do a lot more with this light fixture. So what we're going to look at right now is the built-in macros, and that has actually two channels. So one's built-in macros for the white COBs, and the other is the built-in macro for the RGB effects. And you can control these with a speed channel, which is right next to it. So as you can see, I can speed up the built-in macros or shows for our warm white and cool white, and you're going to get a really cool dazzling display because these are blinders. And these are just some of the built-in shows that I'm showing you right now for this light fixture. This gives you a better sense of how well these dim as well right here. This is a built-in macro that basically brings them up to full and then back down. So again, we did go over the dimmer, but dimmer's not bad. It's rather smooth, especially on the built-in macros. There's just some more there as well. Well, that's an interesting macro for that channel. Get some really crazy built-in shows when you go up to the higher channel. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at our built-in macros or shows for the effects ring. And again, you can adjust the speed. I'm going to bring it up to a much faster speed. We have a really cool kind of jumping effect. You can do different colors, color chases. The macro channels or built-in shows are going to save you a lot of time during programming, so I love seeing this simply because it's so much faster just to choose an already built-in macro to program into your cues. That's kind of cool looking. We have our rainbow chase here, and that looks really cool. Let me see if I can bring down my shutter speed so you can get a better idea. You have some pretty cool smooth effects on this. And again, you can adjust the speed, so you can actually do a super slow macro, or you can speed this right up and get a crazy look to it. I love that look right there. Looks awesome. That looks great too. And all the way to the top, this is our last built-in macro. Seems to just cycle through a bunch of the already built-in macros. But yeah, these look great, and you're gonna get a lot of cool looks with this, especially if you're being very specific about how you want your fixtures to look on your stage. These are going to be great for that, and the built-in macros save a lot of time. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and check out the active cooling system just to hear how loud the fans are. It's not an in-depth review without at least covering that. I'm going to go ahead and remove my external microphone so you guys can have a better sense of the sound of this fixture. Alright, so this is the fans at idle, and we are about a foot away from the camera. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys listen. So it's not very loud, this fixture. You are going to hear it if you're about 3 feet from it, but not super loud. I'm going to go ahead and try to bring this closer to the camera just so you guys can have an idea of how loud it is at idle. Now we're going to go ahead and bring up our lights to get these fans to spin much faster. Just kind of waiting for them to ramp up to give you guys an idea of just how loud these are when they have a full load on the light output. So these fans are actually doing a great job of keeping this fixture cool. They're both exhaust fans, so they're blowing the hot air out, and then we have grills that line the entire body that are bringing in cool air to cool down the system, as well as the LED lights. So not super loud. They're actually very reasonable for a budget-friendly light. I am going to move it further away from the camera to give you guys a better idea of the sound of the fans. So you're not going to get an annoying coil whine with these fans. They're just doing their job, keeping the LED lights cool, and they're not super loud. So great job on the active cooling system of these fans. All right, last but not least, we are going to test out the sound mode. So we are also getting a sound active mode included with this fixture. Let's see how well this light reacts to sound. If you enjoyed this review, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about this light fixture, go ahead and leave them down below. I do answer and respond to all questions and comments as quickly as I can. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel at Theatrically Jerry. I'm slowly getting hundreds and hundreds of subscribers. People reaching out, wanting questions about lights. I love all of that stuff. I'm trying to build a budget-friendly lighting community and give you guys as much information about the fixtures as possible, so you're not just throwing away your money purchasing a fixture that's going to disappoint you. That's kind of the mindset I had when I started Theatrically Jerry. Anyways, I'm also going to leave a link in the description down below, as well as on the video itself. You can click it, purchase one of these. I recommend purchasing a minimum of 3. However, 5 or 7 would be even better, especially for a small stage. And these are going to look great for blinders, especially when paired with a fog machine or a haze machine. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned. I have tons of more reviews coming up, especially between now and into the new year. I have so many fixtures lined up to show you guys. So again, thank you guys for watching.